Rudolph the bean-nosed reindeer. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me and my beans for Veg with Lisa live. But before we get started, please say hi, type in the comments, let me know that you're here and that you can see me and that you can hear me and that you can check out these absolutely amazing, humongous, massive, hi, Rob, beans. What do you think about these? Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? I'm going to make a humongous white bean minestrone soup with winter squash. Doesn't that sound yummy? It's soup season for sure. Show me your beans since I showed you mine. Oh my gosh. Okay, but before we get started, what about these bad boys? These are actually Royal Corona beans. I love Rancho Gordo brand beans. They're fabulous. And I soak them and I cook them ahead of time just to put them in the soup. Why beans? Well, let me tell you, there is so much cool research out there that says that people who eat more beans are healthier and they live longer. Yeah, you might have a little more yeah, you might have a little more gas. I know, but you'll get used to it. Yes, Rob, these are some gigantic beans, some humongous beans. Look, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, actually, the less you chew because your digestion will get used to it. Like, you know what they say, it's not the food, it's your gut. I know that's not always true. Like, sometimes beans do just make us a little more gassy, but that's okay because they're so delicious and the benefits of eating them are so worth just a little bit of. Okay, so let's check out this soup, shall we? I got some started on the stove a little bit earlier in my, whoo, baby, in my big red soup pot. So let me, that is not a good idea. Let me show you. It's just a normal, oh, it is a bean soup facial. It's just the normal suspects: carrots, onions, celery, garlic. And this time of the year, I love a little super secret ingredient, some minced fresh ginger. So I'm going to toss, excuse me, going to toss that into my soup pot. Oh, it smells absolutely delicious. Add a little bit of pinch of salt like we would do. I just use a teeny bit of olive oil. You could use some aquafaba or even just some water if you're not into using oil these days. Aren't these the best? Okay, so what next? Some maters, a can of tomatoes. Oh, it's so super simple. And then I always rinse out the can with a little water for a little extra liquid. Now, what about these beans? Look at these bad boys. So I cooked these ahead of time. Again, these are Rancho Gordo Royal Corona beans. If you can't find these, you could use gigante beans or even big limas or even just any kind of white bean. But these are really worth seeking out because they're super meaty. Okay, so I cooked them, I soaked them, I drained the soaking liquid, and then I cooked them, and I'm saving the cooking liquid. And I'm going to dump that all into my soup pot. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this recipe. Okay, then, you know what's really cool about this recipe? Most minestrone soup, this is minestrone soup with humongous white beans and winter squash. Most minestrone soup has pasta in it. You can do that if you like, but I found this recipe on the New York Times and I kind of tweaked it a little bit to make it my own. It calls for diced or chopped butternut squash or winter squash, sorry, instead of the pasta. So I'm going to give it a whirl. This is not butternut. You could use butternut. I had some like really cool little squashes sitting around from the farmer's market. I was going to show you, but I don't know what I did with the other one. So I'm going to toss this in my soup pot. Okay. I love the idea. Like, I'm not like, I don't stress too much about stuff. I don't have celiac. I'm not super intolerant to gluten. I just don't like to eat a ton of it because it does make my joints kind of achy and pasta's not like my thing. I mean, my friend Emily loves pasta, so she would probably be happy with the pasta. I'm just as happy without the pasta, so that's why I was so delighted to find this soup recipe. And who you may have that butternut squash or that acorn squash or some kind of squash sitting around that you don't know what to do with. Well, we're going to make it in this soup. Okay, fabulous. What else do I need to put in here? Some sprigs of parsley, some sprigs of thyme, bam, in the pot. I like things really tomatoey, so I'm going to put a squirt of tomato paste. If you use tomato paste, I highly recommend these little tubes. They're awesome. The cans always get moldy on me. What else? a bay leaf, and some freshly ground black pepper. Okay, you will just cover that and you cook it. Give it a little stir. Cook it. Woo, baby, it's hot in here. Cook it until the veggies and the beans are tender. Now, the beans were already cooked ahead of time. You do not want to eat or serve undercooked beans because otherwise your guests will be rocket propelled. So make sure that your beans are really well cooked before you put them in this soup. Okay, let's see. I think I've got almost everything. So I made a big old pot ahead of time to show you. It's very hot though. I have to be very, very careful. Ow, everything is hot in here for crying out loud. Okay. Oh, you know what? I got so excited to taste the soup. I forgot to finish it off with a little bit of nooch. Traditional minestrone soups probably have Parmesan in it. I don't eat dairy, so I'm going to use some nutritional yeast for that Parmesan-y flavor. A whole bunches of fresh parsley. If you have fresh basil, that would probably be really good too. What did I forget? I think that's about all. I think that's everything. So let's give all that a stir. And then I'm going to try to show you. Oh, mamma mia. This is amazing. Believe you me, you are going to want to make this soup. You are going to want to make this soup. Doesn't that look fantastic? Oh, yeah. Okay, now let me serve it up and show you how. Look at this. Check this out. Check out these beans, these big white beans. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. An extra little splash of parsley. And because I can hardly cook without it, a little drizzle of Spice Switch chili oil. And have I got a deal for you? I am in love with Spice Switch chili oil and chili crisp for a couple of reasons. One, because it's absolutely delicious, first and foremost. Second, because it is clean. Spice Witch is made right here in Asheville, North Carolina with magic and love. And Sabrina the Witch uses avocado oil, not soybean oil, and there's no sugar and no gunk in it. So read your labels on all of your stuff. And if you want to get your very own Spice Switch, which I know you do, use the discount code VEGWITHLISA. I'll post a link in the comments. And you'll get a special discount. Okay. Oh my gosh, isn't that absolutely amazing? Look at all those veg. So remember, just the usuals: onions, garlic, celery, carrots, ginger for a little bit of zip, a little extra, tomatoes. I put a little tomato paste in, you wouldn't have to. Your cooked white, gigantic, ginormous beans. And then let me find a piece of squash in here for you. Instead of pasta, I use these sweet little winter squash chunks. Herbs, thyme, parsley, nutritional yeast. It is absolutely humongously delicious. Thank you for joining me for Veg with Lisa live. I'll see you next time. Rudolph the bean-nosed reindeer.